Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Eplan integration with PDM. I will start showing my screen in 1 second, and now you should see my ECTR interface. For today's presentation, I will be using the SAP Engineering Control Center interface with Eplan Electric P8. So for this integration, you should know that it's just not for SAP. This integration, except for SAP Engineering Control Center, can be used with other PDM systems. So I'll be briefly touching on the SAP Engineering Control Center and how does it work with Electric P8, and I'll primarily be working within Electric P8 to show you this interface. So first thing I'm going to do is in the desktop view, where you'll be able to see this folder structure within my SAP environment, I'm going to create a new folder. So TSST is a folder for my particular user, Travis Stonebreaker, and I'm going to be adding a short description. So once I kind of give it that short description, as you can see here, a new folder underneath this TSST folder was created. Now within SAP Engineering Control Center, you have to set this as active. When you set this as active, when you create a new document or a new document information record, it will be added to this folder structure. And as you can see above, I already have documents that are in this TSST folder. So I'm going to now create a new document from scratch using a template file. When you right-click and go to New Document, you will see this pop-up window. Within this pop-up window, you will be able to see it's going to be an Eplan project. It's coming from a template file, an empty project template file, but I also have the ability to browse for a file in my directory. I'm going to also give this a name. As well. So when a DIR is created, just like you see behind, it will take this description that is in English. The information down below is classification information as well as DIR specific information. So if I wanted to add a customer name or a job number or an electrical standard, so for instance, NFPA or IEC, or you have the ability of clicking on this option to select one of the options below, and it automatically adds it to the pop-up box. When you click OK in this pop-up box, now what's happening in the background is a document information record is now being created. Then the ZW1, which is a project export from Eplan, is now being added to the content repository within SAP. This is just like how you would work with other PDM systems as well. You would have to add this content to that particular content repository in that PDM system. So some other views that you'll take notice is we have the object browser window and a bill of material window that we're going to be using later. So the object browser window includes all the pertinent SAP data for that particular object that is selected on the left-hand side. So for instance, you'll see that this is highlighted. The Eplan CIDEON Virtual Fair Demo is a folder, and the folder really doesn't have any content. But once I select a particular DIR, you'll be able to see the DIR specific information that relates to the document number, the document type, the version, document description, and some of the other nice features with the Engineering Control Center interface is these icons on the left-hand side. So for instance, you see some of them with a little person and some of them without a little person with this little pencil icon. This means that somebody has checked out, and the little green one means I have checked out this file for editing. So this Eplan CIDEON Virtual Fair BOM demo I have created previously, and I already built a bill of material for it that I'll be showing later. And I have already assigned it a material, which you see at this icon below. So now that this project has been created from scratch using a demo template, you will see in the object browser the SAP-related information. So for instance, the person who created it, me, Travis Stonebreaker, the status in which the DIR is currently at, it's in user change, it sees an Eplan project, and I just created it today. So underneath the classification information, I only selected one from my 3 before, and you can see that it's listed below. In the Originals tab, you will see that ZW1 file that I explained before is the full project export from Eplan. And then in the descriptions long text, you will now be able to see the English translation of this DIR. And one of the last tabs that you'll notice that has a good amount of information is the status log. So in here, you can see who the user created, if it has been changed or not, and this hyperlink address, where if you click it, you can see the person's information pop up and an email address in which you can contact them for. So within this document, I'm now going to open this up for editing. So what does this mean? It means that I'm going to take the ZW1 file and I'm going to push it to the Eplan project. As you can see here, it's transferring the files to Eplan, and it's going to open up an Eplan where I can make any kind of edits or changes to it. The status is going to automatically change to 20, which means it's in a change mode within SAP, that I can further refine it, and then I can do some things with this ERP PDM integration suite. And as this is loading, I'll talk about the last window that we will be dealing with today, this bill of materials window. So when you assign a material to a DIR, you're going to be able to then assign each individual level of the mounting location or higher level function location with the material number that you'll be able to see in the full bill of material for an Eplan project. So now that I know that this project was opened up within Eplan, I'm just going to shift over to Eplan real quick. So this information, as you can see here, this DIR is listed here. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to double select the title page cover sheet. So this is just a very basic project where you'll be able to see my company's logos and Eplan. You will see that the project description was created from the SAP environment, and you will see the project name comes over from the document information record. You'll also be able to map accordingly on the right-hand side too. You'll see the document number, type, and part. You'll be able to see the person who created the information, Travis Stonebreaker, and the date that he created, 3/21/2017. And if you would like to then take any of previous information, like a copy and paste that a lot of people do when working within Eplan, you can do it accordingly. Or within your template files, you can already have this mounting location, higher level function structure already built out for you. So for instance, the project above that I will be showing you for the bill of material generation has this structure already defined. So now that you've seen that the project I pulled from SAP environment, at the top of the screen, you'll see that there's another menu option called SAP PLM. If I expand it, you see a bunch of options, which you would be also likely to see with other PDM integrations. So for today, you see it says Open ECTR, which is the Engineering Control Center interface. So if I click this button, the Engineering Control Center interface has priority and will show up. The other option, Open, this is like a browse feature within SAP. So you can have this pop-up appear where you can search for things with an Eplan document type and anything that starts with the word Eplan. So if I click OK, it's going to look into my SAP environment and look for exactly that. Anything with a description starting with Eplan and anything with a document type EPL. And as you can see, there has been a few different demos. So if I want to, I could select it here, hit OK, and have it open within Eplan. But for today, I already have it open, so we're just going to cancel out of this option. So these two other options, Save and Display and Save, have appeared. So the Save and Display option, what this lets me do is create neutral files as well as update metadata and build a structured bill of material. I will not be doing this at this moment, but you can see the pop-up and the options for these export utilities. The other feature with Save and Display is once you select this option, hit OK in that other pop-up, it will create those neutral files that you selected, and then it will close this project within Eplan. The Save option only does neutral file creation and intermittently saves this project back into SAP. The import utility does exactly what is mentioned. It will let you import on demand. So if you get an Eplan project, a ZW1 file from another customer or from somebody else, you will be able to import it into your SAP environment using this option, and it will create a document information record automatically for you with the same kind of pop-up feature as before. The Save As and Save As New version is exactly pretty much what it means. Save As is more of a cloning feature. So we have this document information record, and if we use Save As, it's going to create a next number in that sequence. So this 281 will become 282, and it would have the exact same cover sheet with the updated metadata. At that time, you can also change the project description. The Save As New Version feature lets you version this current document information record. So sometimes you may only want to create a new version when things are released or it's obsolete, and they can be put into your SAP environment. But essentially, this number, 00, is going to be going to the next in sequence. For me, it will be 01 if I select this option. Cancel. So when you look back at the ECTR interface, when you right-click on this item, you are able to open original for edit. And you see this is a glasses icon. That means it's only for display purposes only. So if I have opened it up for either display or for editing, and I just don't want to have the project open in my Eplan environment anymore, you can hit cancel, and it will remove it from the Pages tab. The edit feature. The edit feature, like I said before, is if you only display this document information record and you want to make changes to it, you have to click edit to go into this edit mode capability within Eplan. The create edit bill of material. So within this option, if I click this option for this project, it does not have any of the structure as above. It does not have any schematic information, so it's going to be null. If I select this project and then I open up the edit bill of material, which I'll do a little bit later with the full bill of material generation, you're going to be able to see this additional pop-up appear that has this full breakdown of the bill of material that you would eventually see within SAP. You have the ability to select what Eplan criterion and bill of material filter based on these drop-downs, as well as the drop-down for the BOM filter. And that will change how you figure out this information down below. And I'll be showing that in a little bit of time. So the next feature is a create assigned material. So of course you will not be able to build a bill of materials unless you already have assigned material numbers to your parts. And what does that mean? So within Eplan, if you're not familiar with Eplan, is that Eplan sits on top of a parts library. This parts library includes a lot of their own numbering convention from a bunch of different manufacturers. And then you have your own ERP system with their own numbers and your own number schemes. And what happens is this feature allows you to marry those two together between Eplan and your ERP environment. So you can either A, create a new material from scratch using some kind of a number range for all your parts within Eplan, or you can then assign the ERP number as like a pop-up option. But as of right now, all my materials that I use for all these projects have assigned material numbers, so you will not be able to see any material assignment today. The refresh attributes. Refresh attributes is a pretty interesting feature. So what does that mean? Is that I can click the Engineering Control Center interface. I can go to, for instance, the long text description. And while the project is open in edit mode in Eplan, I am still able to edit certain other features within SAP. So here, I'm just going to make a quick little change to the English description once everything is loading from our environment. And I'm just going to add 2017 to the end. So I hit the save icon to save this information back into SAP. And now that it's saved back into SAP, I can come back into Eplan, go back into the utility, into refresh attributes, and now I click it. And on the bottom right, you should see this little pop-up saying, hey, you know what? Since you clicked it, something's actually happening in the background. Because this is a background process, it is updating this information entirely. So what happens is that you really don't see it being modified yet. And once it is actually done, then you're just going to redraw the project. Then once this actually finishes, we give it a couple more times. But this information, like I said, is being stored in the information in the US. So it does take a little bit of time to push attributes across the system. So as that's going across, I'll continue down these options. The last option is the create dependent documents or dependent documents dark. So just like in the save and display, when I click this option, you'll see various other options to create neutral files. So for this particular option, I've only selected to be able to create PDFs in German, English, and in Spanish, and update metadata information, and be able to build a structured bill of material. So at this time, I will say, okay, I think I'm done with this project, so I can move on to the bill of material project. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to save and display this project. I'm going to create these 3 PDFs, and I'm going to update the project file. And once I click OK, you will see in the background and even in the foreground that information is being updated and repopulated with information, that the ZW1 file is going to be transferred. That's what you see here on the bottom of Engineering Control Center, is that this file is being transferred back into the content repository, as well as these 3 neutral file PDFs that are being generated with the system. Now, the last thing that's going to happen is after these files are transitioned from Eplan, being converted to a ZW1 file format, and then uploaded to SAP, the file will be closed from the Eplan system. So this will take a little bit of time, and as we go through this, I'll kind of explain a little bit more features within DESPI and Engineering Control Center interface. So if you're familiar with SAP, you might have things that are considered, engineering change numbers. You can automatically activate engineering change numbers with an option down below, or you can select a DIR, and then you can assign it to the right-hand side as well for a different change number. You have an option here, and if it was assigned, you'll be able to see a link there. You can assign a DIR a material number. So when you do that, you see something without a material icon, you can easily just right-click and create material. So now that I've seen that the bottom, it has finished processing, now if I select back into the project, it's still processing, actually. The Eplan is still processing. Okay, so after Eplan has done processing, you see the project is no longer there. And then within the Engineering Control Center interface, you now see the 3 PDF neutral files that were generated with the integration. So for now, I'm just going to show you the PDF real quick for the English translation of this small title page. And you see that it has just all the information that you saw previously, which is perfect. So the last topic that I want to go over real quick is the bill of material generation. So when you click this DIR, you can then click this SAP PLM, click Create Edit Bill of Material to have that pop-up appear again. Now that you see the structured bill of material pop up, on the right-hand side, you see this green box. This green box, when I click it, is actually a validation within my parts library that checks all my devices have an ERP number. If they do not, they will show up as red, and you would need to then assign an ERP number before you're able to build a full bill of material. So what I'm going to do currently is I'm going to kind of show a side-by-side feature of this project within Eplan and within the Engineering Control Center interface. So when I expand this project, you will see that based on the Eplan criterion mounting location and the criterion here, the descriptions, match exactly what is within the SAP environment. And if I expand these options to the right-hand side, the bill of material, and expand it one more time, because it has to be assigned to usage, you will see all these materials, just like if I would click on this option here, you'd see all the exact same information. So now that you have seen how to create a new document from scratch, how to synchronize metadata, as well as create neutral file with the SAP Engineering Control Center interface. But like I said before, everything that you can do with this, the only thing that's different between SAP is this interface. With other PDM systems, you would work with just this menu option with your PDM system. So at this time, if anyone has any questions or comments, I will read them aloud and answer them live. So I did see some chats kind of come up when I was recording. And this is recorded and available for 30 days after the event. I know that was one question. When can we access this after the virtual fair? One other question. So can I compare the first version of Project Wind Change with the version of the project? As a comparison between different projects, Yes, it is possible, but you need to check that check out both projects and then compare them within Eplan. That's how you would do that. Is there any other options? Okay. So here's another question. Is it possible to see/use EasyDM folders in Engineering Control Center? Well, actually, the really nice thing with the Engineering Control Center interface is it acts just like EasyDMS, where you can take a document, drag and drop it into a folder, and if it knows that extension, it automatically creates a DIR for you. So you do have the full functionality. And this is that if I do open up the EasyDMS, you will be able to see this structure as well. So it is actually a really nice feature. So some other questions, like I said, that have been asked previously is what actual integrations does the the Eplan PDM integration suite work with? It actually right now works with SAP as well as Autodesk Vault and PTC Windchill and Siemens Teamcenter. Some other kind of common questions. What are some of the minimal requirements to use the SAP Engineering Control Center for Eplan? If you use the SAP Engineering Control Center 5.1 and then the Eplan ERP PM Integration Suite 2.5 and higher, and then thus you would also need to use Eplan 2.5 or higher as well. Okay, so another question. Can we use Engineering Control Center instead of EasyDMS? Well, yes, you can. It actually has an integration with Word, PowerPoint, Excel, as you would see within here. Instead of this being a menu option like here, it's actually a ribbon at the top. There's also the Engineering Control Center interface actually can be used for mechanical CAD integration as well. So for instance, Solid Edge, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Inventor, Creo, etc. And that's something that we can also discuss after this as well. I'll give it a couple more minutes, probably about another 2 more minutes before we will close this demo. If you have any other questions, please just add them to the chat and we'll answer them as they come in. In the meantime, just as a response for everyone here, if you can fill out the feedback form that is located in the information booth in the virtual fair platform and send that into Eplan, and then you'll be able to have a chance to win an iPad. We have one more question. What is the status with S4 Hana? The nice thing with S4 Hana is that the Engineering Control Center is actually already there for S4 Hana. And I'll give it probably about another 1 more minute for any other additional questions. In the meantime, if one other one that may be asked is the Eplan data portal supported? And actually by default, the Eplan data portal is supported, but when you transfer a component from the data portal, you would then need to assign it an ERP number with the standard functionality with the integration. And I guess one more question. How can the component information be exchanged between Eplan and SAP? So with the SAP Engineering Control Center interface, the Eplan, it allows to exchange data between the 2 systems and assign it this number, and with metadata synchronization, which enables you to link the information, so you need to put it in 2 different databases that can be linked automatically, as well as parts. Parts can be synchronized with your ERP environment and have metadata synchronization with your parts library. So I think at this time, if anyone has any outstanding questions they would like to discuss, we are open for a chat. And I would like to thank everyone for attending this live demonstration of the Eplan integration with the SAP Engineering Control Center interface. And I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And for everyone who has not looked at the schedule, at 3 o'clock, there is an Eplan platform and Codegeneer for efficient engineering and automated design by Anders Denas. And I hope to talk to everyone soon. Goodbye.